Welcome back to getting ready for the barge build. Here we're going to go ahead and get those things fixed on the car. So I've got it jacked up, got the tire off, and the first things first is got some metal on metal sound coming from in here and inside this rear brake. I'm pretty sure the brake shoe is completely gone and it's just hitting on the rotor. Maybe if I stare at it it'll come off. Nope, that didn't work. This is an old trick I picked up at the shop I used to work at. Sometimes when the brake drum doesn't want to come off, it's because it's seized to the middle of the spindle. As long as you keep this hole saw lubricated, it'll last you a good long while, and sure enough, that did the trick. And take a look at that. That is what used to be the brake shoe. It's separated right there. So it was metal on the drum. I've got the new shoes installed, and that job is done. Shiny new brake drum. The next issue is I can't put gas in the car from a pump. You can see I've already replaced the filler neck and that didn't fix it. And to spare you, I did spend about 20 minutes working on it, trying some other things, and that didn't work either, so I'm going to just take care of this flopping metal I got under here. I'll probably end up having to replace the fuel tank. This is the next issue I've got. The shifter, when you put it in park, it's not actually in park. You can see I can't start the car with it in park. So I've got all the trim work removed, and take a look at that linkage. The bushing's gone. I found it. Or most of it. So this fix right here will work just fine for the time being. Some electrical tape to take up the slop and a zip tie to hold it on. So I took the car for a test drive and the rattle is gone, the metal on metal sound from the brake is gone, and I'm able to start it in park. I will have to fill up the car using a jerry can, but there's worse things in life. Well, getting ready to start building this thing. I'm living in my truck. I'm using my truck's battery to charge things and to run things like this fan here for keeping me cool out here in these hot summer nights. Charge things like these extra batteries, the cell phone that's also a hotspot, run the laptop for getting these videos to you guys, the tablet, charging tool batteries. It's not draining the main start battery. This is an 8D, it's 12 volt, I think it's some kind of like 1000 cranking amps. Pretty good battery, a lot of amp hours. That battery actually has its own kill switch right in there. So I disconnect this one at night. Back here, underneath the crane on Little Red, we've got two yellow top with their own chargers, and I can flip that switch and run all the accessories off that one. And it also has what's called a smart switch tucked right in there. So that switch connects this battery to the cranking battery whenever the alternator's on, whenever the voltage is over 13.6, I think. Maybe it's 14.3. I don't know. Whenever the alternator's charging, the alternator will charge these batteries as well as the cranking battery, and then when the voltage drops below like 13.6, it disconnects these batteries from the rest of the truck. Unless I override it with that switch, I can run things like the cigarette lighter and the lights inside the cab. And when the main generator starts running here in a couple weeks and we start building stuff, I'll use that to get these batteries charged. That way I don't have to run the truck as much. Last night here on this inverter, but right there, it dropped to 50% and it actually went down to 25. The reason it's back up to 50 is because I connected it to the crank battery, which charged these batteries back up. And this thing started going off, beep, 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 saying it was low battery. So I think what I'm going to do is I have another yellow top. I'm going to slam another yellow top in here and get more amp hours out of this setup. Well, I've got that third battery installed, and now this setup shouldn't die at night anymore. So I need to get that trailer unloaded with all the steel C-channel and the steel 8-inch pipe. So what I'm doing here is setting down some more dunnage. But I need to get that pipe and C-channel off that trailer because I need to run back up north and grab that load of lumber. The guy called me and said it's ready. Having a crane available and on site like this one, I think is a real game changer. I'm not sure how I'd get this barge built without having access to this thing. If you don't have a crane yourself, you're really missing out. A lot of times I get asked, why do you have a crane on your truck, or what do you use that crane for? And I think what they're usually getting at is they want to know what kind of business I'm doing that I need a crane. And the truth is I'm not running a business. There's just things that I want to pick up that I don't want to pick up by hand. I kind of like my back. As I pick up a big old piece of steel with my back. So now I want to get a weight of how much this pipe weighs. So I'm going to use this dynamometer to take that weight. I'm borrowing it from Doug on SV Seeker. First time it didn't work, said battery 0. Now it's battery 70. That should work a little better. 1,125 newtons, or about 250 pounds. The next victim in Andy's garage is this lawnmower. I ran over a bucket of paint. In my defense, look at how tall the grass is. You can't even see the tongue of the trailer. Regardless, I'll fix it. Wow, look at these blades. That one's missing a chunk. That one's split down the middle. And somehow this one got wire wrapped around it. I'll take care of this when I get back. So right now we got my friend's trailer ready to go. But before we do, I check the tire pressure and check the bearings. Make sure it's got good fresh grease and there's no water in there, no rust, no dirt. Also jacked it up and gave it a good wiggle to make sure there's no slop in the bearings. I'll do a full teardown after this trip. So got lucky in here. Look what I found in the filing cabinet. Some good trailer lights to fix those busted ones. A lot of times when trailer lights don't work, it's because the ground wire isn't grounded well. It doesn't have good contact to bare metal. Now I'm going to give it a coat of anti-seize to keep corrosion and water and rust and dirt away from that, and hopefully keep a good ground contact for years to come. Check it out. We've got running lights, turn signals, and brake lights. Pro tip, one person can actually check all of it on a trailer by themselves by triggering running lights and the flashers. That'll check everything at once. That sound never gets old. And if you don't know what that is, you're doing it wrong. Well, stick around to the next one. The trip we have gets pretty exciting.